Super Bowl bubble. And like a couple of these teams right now have got to get better at things, but I always put about 6 or 7 teams in. I do think Philadelphia will right the ship, at least with their running game. And I do think Bo Nix, as the season progresses, will get more consistent. But right now, my Super Bowl bubble, the teams I think could end up in a Super Bowl, I don't know if they can win it. I think they can end up there. Kansas City, Tampa, Philadelphia, Detroit, Seattle, Green Bay, and Denver. I'm not saying Bo Nix is going to hoist a trophy. I think those teams either have the coach, the roster, the defensive front, the O-line. And then I would put the Colts, the Rams, San Francisco, and the Bills. Now, in 3 to 4 weeks, when Hampton's back and Joe Alter back for the Chargers, that's not their reality now. Right now, Chargers are missing both tackles and don't have a third-string running back. The Rams would maybe be in it, but they lost Puka Nacua, and they are very reliant on Puka Nacua in big downs. So San Francisco, I think they're going to get healthier offensively. They get Pearsall back and Ayuk back and Kittle. I think San Francisco, I don't know if they can hoist a trophy, but Brock Purdy's coming back, so I'm going to put them on the edges. I didn't put Pittsburgh yet. Listen, Pittsburgh's beating bad quarterbacks. The one really good team they played, they got routed. They got routed by Seattle at home. So Pittsburgh needs to win a couple more games. But in terms of Kansas City, I don't know what everybody else is watching. I mean, the eye test, they are fast defensively, and they have the best head coach, quarterback, defensive coordinator combo in the sport. Here's Matt Hasselbeck earlier this week on the Chiefs.
If you're starting quarterbacks, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game ever, and then you've got the best offensive play caller designer in our era and Andy Reid, like literally, how are you going to, like, that gives me confidence as a player. That gives me confidence as a locker room. And as a defense, like you got Mahomes over here running like speed option, like he's Vince Young or something. Like you got to defend it all. You can tell that this is a team. There's no panic. There's no players only meetings there. You know, they're 3-3. The sky's not falling. You know, they're like, hey, we're going to go 1-0 this week. You know, we're probably like a game out. We're good.
I will say Tampa's an interesting team because they're 5-1, but needed a last-second field goal to beat the Jets. And 4 of their 5 wins have come with within a field goal or less. Now, they're banged up. So they're going to get Chris Godwin back, Mike Evans back, Bucky Irving back. So I think you're not seeing the best of Tampa's personnel, and I still have them in the bubble. I think there's tremendous value on winning close games. And also something to remember, teams ebb and flow. The Chargers look great. Then they fell apart physically. Now they're not that good. I didn't put them in my top 10. Joe Alt returns at left tackle. Hampton returns. I think they're a top 10 team. San Francisco. I have Seattle in the Super Bowl bubble. That has been, now you say, what about New England? I like what New England's doing, but they got whacked by Pittsburgh, and I don't have Pittsburgh here.
Yeah. Let's talk about this now. First off, I will always continue to laugh all season as Colin tries to call people out for their Kansas City Chiefs takes, where he's like, I don't know what you guys are all looking at. And it's like, well, what were you looking at in the beginning of the season? You're the one that said that. You're the one that literally said the Super Bowl window has closed, and now they're in the Super Bowl bubble. So when God closes a window, he opens up a bubble. Like, I mean, like, is that what we're in right now? Yeah, I mean, listen, fundamentally, I have no issues with this whatsoever. I think this is such a strange and bizarre year, for just so many different reasons. Whether it be because of injuries, suspensions, coaching changes, quarterbacks who are playing unbelievable that didn't necessarily always play unbelievable, quarterbacks that were unbelievable, or offenses that were unbelievable that aren't as good, or defense, like everything is just so, you got Mac Jones leading the 49ers right now. We still don't even really know who Pearsall is, and even Brandon Ayuk is right now. I mean, we just don't. I haven't seen it for an extended period of time. Christian McCaffrey stay healthy. Sam Darnold, and again, I think it's sustainable, but will it actually be sustainable and keep going? Can the Detroit Lions continue to refine and get their coaches continuing to grow and evolve with this team? Will they be able to troubleshoot any problems that they come across throughout the season, like they've already have against the Kansas City Chiefs? What does the coaching staff do now? What changes do they make? We're about to learn. Same thing with the Philadelphia Eagles. They're facing issues. What does this coaching staff do now? Kevin Patullo specifically, the offensive coordinator. Those are the question marks here. Can the Green Bay Packers continue to mature and evolve and grow as well? They're a young team. They're learning how to win games. Jordan Love is continuing to improve. And so there's plenty of question marks, which is why it's funny, because under normal circumstances, my default would be, well, the Rams, the Lions, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the 49ers, the Bills, mainly because you're like consistent coaching staff, consistent roster, consistent quarterbacks, etc., that have all been there, played at the highest moments and whatnot. But then you're like, well, but the Eagles it has a brand new play caller and he seems to be struggling. You're like the Rams, you're like, well, they really are heavily reliant on Puka Nacua. He's banged up, etc., etc. Like, what's the story there? The Buffalo Bills, right? It's just like things just don't look quite right now. Again, Denver Broncos believe in Sean Payne. Bo Nix is a really young quarterback who also still has plenty of moments where he is just going to completely fail in his career, just the way it works in the world. And so, and again, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a lot of momentum and a lot of things going for them. And again, it's hard to really gauge them because of all the injuries that they've had. Maybe they get even better. Maybe they play about the same, right? It's just, you actually really don't know. And the Kansas City Chiefs, again, obviously also difficult to evaluate because of the way how their season has unfolded. You're like, I trust Shane Steichen a tremendously amount. But then you're like, well, Daniel Jones, like I don't really truly know what Daniel Jones would look like on a divisional round playoff game on the road in Arrowhead or something. Like, I have no idea. I really don't. For all I know, he is going to rise to the occasion, ball out, and we're going to be like, Daniel Jones just outdueled Patrick Mahomes and just beat them. He hung 42 points. Like, that's definitely, honestly, genuinely possible. And I don't even mean possible in like anything is possible. It's just genuinely possible. It really is. Jalen Hurts and Shane Steichen hung the most points in a Super Bowl loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. Right? So anything is possible. Anything is possible. But again, I'm not saying I'm predicting it because it's like, I don't know. So it's just it's a bizarre year. Just even the bubble alone. We got the Seahawks in there. We got the Broncos in there. You got the Bucks in there. Like, it's just like, you're like, what am I looking at right now? You got the Bills outside of the bubble. You got the Colts right there. You're just like, what am I looking at? And again, I love it. I'm 100% all for it. It does seem to me right now the most refined teams, really just team, is the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'd even dare I say even like the Seattle Seahawks right now. But again, as much as of a massive supporter I am of them, specifically, Sam Darnold, Clint Kubiak, McDonald, what they're doing there. But you don't have that track record. And so that's why I tried to make my one rankings where I'm like, this will be a fun way to do it. I'm not focused on track record. I'm not focused on what I believe the future is going to bring. I'm not focused on, hey, well, that's Patrick Mahomes. We know what he's done in the past. It's just like, how are teams just playing right now, and trying to look at it through that lens. And the Seahawks are playing unbelievable. And they're also not fully healthy defensively and are trying to get back on track there. And if they do, it's like, I mean, that team has the potential to be quite suffocating. But the only reason why you would have concerns or doubt, because you would be like, what the heck is this team? Like, who the heck is Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks? Like, what? Like, did they actually just build something special, or is this just like, hey, they're a pretty good team. They can hang. Like, like it's the early stages. It's the early stages. I mean, even the Philadelphia Eagles, the reason why there was any even a semblance of belief in them in 24 is because we saw what they did in 22. And so you knew, hey, we saw Jalen in his role. We saw AJ. We saw Devontae, right? We saw those things. So we could put it together. In 22, they didn't have that. They were winning a lot of games, but people were kind of like, is this for real? I don't know. If you remember, Nick Wright kept saying, they're not that good. They're not that good. I don't think he even had them making the playoffs. Surprise, surprise, whatever it is. And so, you're just always that doubt and hesitation. And so what will potentially be that next team? Will it be a team like the Seattle Seahawks? Will it be the Indianapolis Colts, right? Where people are just kind of like, I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Then you're like, oh, Indianapolis Colts are in the Super Bowl? Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen? Like, what? And so I wonder. We haven't really had that too strongly because even a team like the Eagles obviously has a much stronger track record than, say, the Indianapolis Colts or the Seattle Seahawks, a more current track record, obviously, and whatnot. For a long time now, it's been the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Rams, the Eagles. It's teams that for the most part, you're like, hey, pretty much year after year after year, they're competitive. They put a great team forward. They've either been to Super Bowls in the past, their coaches have proven, their quarterbacks have been proven, whatever it may be. We've seen that. And on the more recent side, we haven't 100% seen the Packers do that. We haven't seen the Seahawks do that. We haven't seen the Bucs do that with Baker Mayfield. We saw it with Tom Brady. That's obviously a very specific scenario when Tom Brady is your quarterback. And so I'm curious. I'm curious if we get some of these other teams that are just like, no, like we have arrived now. Like we are entering the conversation. I mean, once upon a time, even the Rams were like that with Sean McVay and the 49ers with Shanahan. Like it feels kind of harder to remember because now for the last like 8 years or so, you could pretty much confirm you have a high degree of confidence that they're going to be a pretty darn good team and be competitive. And it wasn't fully that a few years prior to that, and now it's like the Bills, the Rams, the Eagles, like the Chiefs, obviously, like they're all just perennial Super Bowl contenders. So who else can now enter that conversation, if any new teams can or can't, and if they can enter the conversation, again, I just keep using the Colts as a reference point. It's like, can they actually hang then with the guys who have truly proven themselves, namely the Kansas City Chiefs? We'll find out. I hope we find out. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Colin Cowherd's Super Bowl bubble? How dare you doubt the Kansas City Chiefs? Colin has never doubted the Kansas City Chiefs. He did not say that they were going to be like an 8 or 9 win team, struggle to make the playoffs, not win the division, and the Super Bowl window and dynasty is closed. He never said any of those things. Not once. Not once. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.